The traditional Russian costume has a very long history. Many of the traditional pieces in the past are not worn anymore today, though a few of them have managed to stay and become iconic. You won't be able to find the exact date when Russian traditional clothing was born, but it is assumed to be around the 10th to 12th century.
Traditional Russian clothing not only protects from heat and cold, but also informs about the marital status, age, and origin of the wearer. Each type of clothing had characteristics, details, and special design. The choice of fabric was also important, while the decoration, the finish, and the cut had symbolic meanings.
Elements of Russian traditional clothing. Rubaha. This oversized shirt was the basic element of the traditional Russian wardrobe. The loose shirt was worn by anyone, men and women, as well as the rich and poor. The materials differ from basic cheap linen and cotton to expensive silk. This piece of clothing was very comfortable and it was not changed at all until the 20th century.
Sarafan. The sarafan was first mentioned during the 14th century. First, it was also used as a address for males, and only in the 17th century the term was exclusively used for a piece of women's clothing. This multicolored long dress with open shoulder was worn over the rubaka. It was used for daily life as well as special occasions. Sarafans were made out of different materials and include a lot of decorations. The higher social classes wore sarafan made out of silk and velvet while others were made out of domestic linen.
Kokoshnik. It was common for women to wear decoration for the head and hair. Depending on the civil status, young women were allowed to show off their hair in a braid decorated with flowers or other things, while married women had to fully cover their hair with the so-called kokoshnik. Married women used to put their hair into two braids and tie them around their head. Because kokoshniks were often made out of expensive materials, they were only worn a few times a year. In everyday life, women therefore wore hats with a shawl tied around, the so-called pavonik.
The shuba. The shuba, or fur coat, had survived over the centuries and has managed to stay popular in the country. The coat was worn by women and men equally, mainly because of the harsh weather conditions. The fur used to be on the inner side while the outside was heavily decorated. Today, the style of the fur coat may have changed, but it still serves its main purpose, to keep the user warm.
Kaftan. The word is original from the Middle East, but this item was such an important part in the Russian wardrobe that it was seen as a local. The kaftan was a coat quite similar to the ones today, but they were made out of expensive materials and decorated with embroidery.